happy for you. Congratulations.
Your Lifetime Achievement Award winner for 2022, Sue Barker, CBE. Sit down, you can talk.
You didn't mention this.
No.
You just said come up and have a chat.
I said, exactly, I got you here under false pretenses slightly, so I'm sorry about that. I'm so glad they included the French and Saunders bit. And actually, I was also thinking, we've got to talk about something funny, otherwise we both start crying. I was also thinking about the hack of the dog sketch. Yeah. And actually, the key to it, I think, is not just knowing your stuff and being brilliant, but being able to do it with a smile, with a laugh, having fun.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, you know Wimbledon well, and you know it's long hours, but we have such fun along the way, and all of those wonderful players and the wonderful Billie Jean King, and you know I've just been so incredibly lucky, and I'm going to get emotional, but two amazing careers. You know, tennis that I absolutely loved, fell in love with as a 7-year-old, and never thought it would be a career until Billie Jean, who we both love, won the battle of the sexes, and then suddenly my hobby became a career, and I was able to travel the world thanks to her and everything she did, and that gave me a foothold into broadcasting, which wasn't easy in the 90s. There were no women broadcasting, and certainly no former athletes broadcasting.
No, that's true, none.
Helen Rollison had a Friday afternoon show, but she didn't want to go into mainstream, so it was a tricky time. I wasn't that welcomed initially, but eventually it was absolutely wonderful, and that's why to come here tonight and be in this room with so many influential and inspirational women, it just really warms my heart. You guys are great too, trust me, all the guys here, but honestly, you women, and I just want to say, you know, leaving Wimbledon is incredibly, I've loved it all my life. I know I'm leaving it in the safest hands. It's absolutely wonderful to leave with Clare, but also Clare, this year at Wimbledon, myself, you and Isha Guha, to have 3 women presenting Wimbledon for the first time ever, to have 3 women doing that was
I was really moved by the reception you got on centre court on that middle Sunday.
So was I. I couldn't... Well, John McEnroe didn't even turn up for the rehearsals, so I don't know why he took over. I had a whole closing link planned and everything was all sorted. And then he just took over, but it was I think that was the most emotional thing that ever happened in my career. Yeah. And it's something that I will absolutely treasure forever, because you don't really realise it. And I remember all the champions were there, and I was really crying, because the more they cheered, the more I cried. And then I looked over at Roger, because... let's face it, why wouldn't you? And I looked over at Roger Federer, and I remember every time I've interviewed, and I always ask him, you know, what is the best moment of your career? He said, winning my first Wimbledon, it's what I dreamed of. And he said, but you made me cry. And all I have is I'm blubbing, and that's all my memory. And I looked at him, I thought, I'm not going to do a Roger. I can't walk away from Wimbledon like this, blubbing. But you made me cry on the last day with your lovely words.
Oh, but well. No, you couldn't really hear them, because there was so much noise in between. But it was... I was going to ask you, now that you don't have to be neutral, who's been your favourite player? But you may have answered that.
Oh, do you think? Yes, and he even smells nice as well. So
always a bonus. Sue's got a wonderful book out at the moment. You've been on a bit of a book tour. What are people asking you? What's the sort of most common question?
A bit just like you just asked me, favourite player. Also, my favourite mixed doubles partner.
Well, what's your answer to that?
Well, it was Bjorn Borg, and I actually did it. I mean, I played mixed doubles with Bjorn Borg once. He never asked me again. We won the tournament, but he never asked me again. But that was something special. But my favourite moment was Andy winning in 2013. We all remember it. It was just having lost in 2012 and him being so emotional on centre court the year before when he lost to Roger, to come back a year later and beat Novak. And I got in trouble with Wimbledon, because Wimbledon always say you've got to have your script. It's got to be all very perfect. The gentleman's singles trophy winner for 2022 is da-da-da. And I thought, no, I can't do that. So I said, we've waited 77 years for this. The Wimbledon champion is Andy Murray. And I got in awful trouble. And I wasn't able to do that again. But...
Sometimes it is worth getting in trouble to do the right thing. She has done that over a magnificent career. It is a real pleasure to have you here tonight. Thank you so much. Our Lifetime Achievement winner. And it won't be the same without her on the BBC. Sue Barker, everyone!